You know, back in the day, there was a novel called Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? Now, you're probably wondering, what the heck is he talking about this old book for? Well, because that's the reason that we have Blade Runner.
Yeah. Well, that and Ridley Scott.
Well, yeah. But Philip K. Dick.
Yeah, Philip K. Dick
wrote the book.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the main source material. And now we're getting a new Blade Runner movie, which, okay.
Well,
I don't know how, but
okay.
Harrison Ford signed on for it, so.
Well, okay. First off, let me just say this: the guy who is directing this, Denis Villeneuve, he is actually from Quebec. He's a Canadian director.
All right.
He has been on a hot streak with his films ever since he started making movies. Ever since he came to Hollywood. The first film he did was Prisoners. Had Hugh Jackman and Jake Gyllenhaal. It was actually and Terrence Howard. It had
I think I remember
Hugh Jackman and Terrence Howard's daughters
that,
get kidnapped, and they have to find them.
Ah, okay.
The second film that he did was Sicario, which
I've heard of that one.
Which is also really good and is on. Actually, it's on Hulu, and I believe it's on Netflix. Not sure though, but if you haven't seen it, watch it. It is really good. It deals with border control and also the drug trade, and it's got a really good cast. It's got Emily Blunt, Benicio del Toro, John Bernthal, Josh Brolin. Got a really good cast. And then lastly, here recently, he directed, to me, one of the most emotionally gripping films I've ever seen, Arrival. With Amy Adams.
You said it was quite good.
Yeah, with Amy Adams, Jeremy Renner, and Forrest Whitaker. Now, the one thing about each and every one of these films, they're all different genres. Prisoners is a suspense mystery.
Yep.
Well, Sicario is as well. But it's more. But you're more aware of what the direct threat is. Whereas in Prisoners, you had no idea who was carrying out these acts. Whereas you knew who it was in Sicario. It's just they were this untouchable bad guy. And then in Arrival, it is an Alien First Contact-esque film with truth be told, some of the best visuals I've ever seen put on film. There's shots in this dude, or there's shots in that film that don't look real, and they actually show. And I went back and actually they showed the raw footage on some things, and no CGI was used in some of those shots.
Whoa!
The scenery was just so perfect, and also everything that Denis Villeneuve has just touched has been gold for me. I've seen every single one of the films he's directed since he came to the States, and I've been nothing but impressed. And when Denis Villeneuve was given the helm on this, needless to say, I was excited.
Well, I mean, given some of Ridley Scott's recent ventures.
Okay, Ridley Scott actually did good with The Martian. The Martian was good. I like The Martian.
Yeah, okay.
And honestly, that's really the only good film that he's directed here recently, I'd say within the last 10, 15 years, that could be considered a great film. And
yeah, he's had a rough time.
Yeah, he has.
Here of late.
He has, which is sad because you look at, this is the guy that gave us Alien, Blade Runner. Yeah, the guy is a wizard when it comes to some film, when it comes to some of his older works. But for him to hand the reins over to Denis Villeneuve, I'm very excited to see what Villeneuve is going to do. And plus, they got Ryan Gosling, and they've got a lot of other interesting people in the cast.
I mean, they got Harrison Ford.
Yeah, they got Harrison Ford back as Rick
something.
Deckard. So that to me is just like, whoa.
Yeah.
So
yeah, let's look at this because this is the announcement, which I mean, I guess is just a fancy word of saying
teaser
trailer,
I guess.
Yeah. So let's give it a look. Let's see
give it a watch.
what's going on.
replicants are like any other machine. They're either a benefit or a hazard. If they're a benefit, it's not my problem.
I did your job once. I was good at it.
Oh, there's the gun.
How you doing, Deckard?
Things were simpler then.
Okay. Oh. Save the date, ladies and gentlemen. Save the date.
Man, I tell you, So, I've tried several times to sit down and watch all the way through Blade Runner. And there's always a scene
Or you have to stop.
where I have to stop and I just can't handle it.
Which one is it?
Oh, I think it's that last fight scene.
Oh, with Roy Batty?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
And that one I always go, ooh.
I know what
Yeah.
you mean sometimes. Yeah, it gets rough. Well, Rutger Hauer as Roy Batty is considered like one of the best villains because on one side you're made to think you're supposed to hate him, but then all of a sudden it's revealed that he's actually just trying to become more human to some degree. And for him, it's his memories, as he put, all these precious moments will be gone now. Once I'm gone.
Let's see. I can't remember exactly which scene it is. It's been quite a while. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it's that last fight scene. I just go, whew. But man, it is.
Yeah, this the Tears in the Rain monologue by
Yeah.
Roy Batty.
No, I've never even made it this far.
This is
This is
after the fight scene. This is after the fight scene. This is after Rick's trying to escape from him.
Yeah.
I remember Daryl Hannah's character in this, where she plays the gymnast replicant.
Yep.
Where she's like flips all over the place and goes like batshit crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And as she's flipping, Deckard shoots her, and in the midst of her flip, she just collapses. It's just like, damn. Hmm.
Yeah, I think it's when Tyrell gets murdered.
Okay.
Yeah, that one. Oh. There's, but yeah, like I couldn't handle that.
Well, I've seen this film all the way through. I've seen this film all the way through once, and I've seen bits and pieces of it later on.
Mm-hmm.
But that one scene just gets you every time, right?
Yeah, it's just I can't handle it. Oh no, please don't look it up. Oh no.
Ah, yes. I remember that.
Uh-huh. Yeah, let's not watch that. I don't no.
Dr. Terrell.
And there's so many references made to this movie. Like, for example, do you remember we were playing Fallout 4 and there was the town called Covenant?
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Covenant's a reference.
Yeah,
to there.
I remember that now. Damn.
Because they had created a test that they thought could sort out synths from humans.
The test.
Yeah,
I remember
which
that.
The test was just the general occupational aptitude test from Fallout 3.
Yeah.
Save the last question, which the last question was just, who controls everything, all this stuff, the overseer. But all the other ones, that's what you used to determine what your tagged skills would be, what your character was really good at from the beginning.
Yeah.
But yeah, that whole thing's a Blade Runner reference. It's pretty neat.
It's beautiful. Some of the best stuff. Well,
yeah.
This film at first when it was released, people thought it was too far out there.
Oh yeah.
And over time, the reception to it has done nothing but grow in terms of positivity. I mean, now it's seen as like a landmark in cinema.
Oh yeah. Sometimes things just come too soon.
Yeah, and thankfully, and hopefully, if the film is preserved and is kept, it's just like Citizen Kane. Citizen Kane originally did not. I think when it was originally released, it did not make its money back. Let me see here.
See.
Citizen Kane considered to be one of the best films.
Failed to recoup its cost at the box office.
Yeah. While
Yep.
The film faded from view after its release, but was subsequently returned to public attention, praised for such French critics as André Bazin,
and given an American revival in 1956.
So there you go.
Yeah. So I mean, it really was, 15 years too early.
Yeah. And let's see, Blade Runner. There it is. And let's see, 1982.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Initially polarized critics. Some were displeased with the pacing, while others enjoyed the thematic complexity.
Yep. Underperformed in North American theaters, but has since become a cult film. Yeah.
Hailed for its production design, depicting a retrofitted future. Yeah.
Yep. Neo-noir, yeah.
Yeah. It costed $28 million to make.
Made 33 0.8 million at the box office.
Okay, hold on. Let me see here. Let me see.
In today's dollar
By
value
year.
over time might be, or inflation calculator. That's
There
the
it
one.
is.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was in 1982.
1982,
Yep.
and it was
Yep.
it was 20 million.
28 million.
28 million. 28 to 3.
Yep.
Okay.
And calculate. So it would have been 70
a $70 million budget.
Yeah.
Okay, let's put that in perspective. $70 million in terms of big budget films,
It's pretty low.
That's
honestly.
astoundingly low. That's not even a third of some of these films' budgets. Case in point,
It's true.
the third Pirates of the Caribbean film, At World's End, costed $300 million.
Ooh.
Suicide Squad costed $150 million. This is not even half of that, and look what it was able to accomplish.
Well, you know what they
Unbelievable.
say. Money isn't everything.
I know money isn't everything, but here's the kicker with the whole thing. With everything that Blade Runner was able to accomplish, the first one, everything the first Blade Runner was able to accomplish.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, for $28 million, for everything that was in the film is astounding and miraculous. And then and then all of a sudden, and now we have films that have $100 million budgets like nothing.
Yeah.
And they come out crap.
Yep.
They come out horrible. I can't help but just feel, there's a big explanation right there why the visuals were so good. Jordan Cronenweth was the cinematographer. Jordan Cronenweth is the father of Jeff Cronenweth. Jeff Cronenweth being David Fincher's primary cinematographer. And to me, okay, Blade Runner, I think, is one of those miraculous things. Like, okay, for instance, Ghostbusters should not have worked.
The original?
The original. Yes, the original Ghostbusters, as how it is, should not have worked.
Yeah,
because,
I agree with you.
Because of everything coming together how it did, had the recipe for a disaster, a turkey, as it's called in terms of the box office. Same thing with the Blues Brothers.
Yeah, we talked about this the other day. The Blues Brothers, that movie should not be anywhere near as good as it is. And that movie is absolutely balls to the wall amazing.
Yes.
That is easily in my top 3 favorite movies of all time.
So there you go.
And
it's a great film.
Yeah.
It's a great A film.
There are so many people in it. There's so many big names in it, and just so much going on. That shouldn't work.
No, it shouldn't.
But it's perfect.
Yeah. It has great pacing, good jokes, great acting, great music.
Oh man.
And honestly, some of the best moments on film. Like, for instance, the car chase.
So that car chase, like, for the longest time, held the record for most cars crashed in a single movie scene.
Yeah.
Until Blues Brothers 2000 had to up the ante. Which, that's the thing about Blues Brothers 2000, is they tried to redo the original. They tried to recapture exactly the same thing, and it didn't work.
It didn't work because in all honesty, they took some wrong turns to me. They took some wrong turns. First, okay, John Belushi died. There was nothing they could do about that happening.
Right.
Them wanting to carry on, that's one thing. For one, instead of the Illinois Russians, I'd have brought back the Illinois Nazis.
I didn't mind the transition to the Russians so much. That one didn't get me.
The kid, I felt was not necessary.
The kid was, was a
Buster
little much.
Blues.
Yep.
Oof. But
And
unnecessary sequels.
Here's the one that
Yeah.
got me. Afterwards, Dan Aykroyd later began performing with Jim Belushi
Yeah.
as Z,
Z.
Blues, Jake's long-lost brother.
Yeah.
And that seems to work out pretty well.
Yeah, and
So why couldn't they have gotten Jim Belushi for the movie?
well, I don't know. Maybe Jim wouldn't commit because well, here's the thing. Jim is funny in his own right, and I think it would have worked better with him in the film.
But he doesn't necessarily want to be seen as just John Belushi's brother.
No,
which I
he
can
did-
understand.
And I think John Goodman did okay. I think.
Oh yeah, I didn't mind. Like John Goodman, I love John Goodman.
Yeah.
John Goodman, I thought did solid in that.
Yeah.
But the whole thing was it was trying to recreate the original, and it just didn't work. But see, that's interestingly enough, I can bring it back around because I'm wondering if this movie is going to try to recreate the original, because that's a dangerous thing.
That is a dangerous thing. Here's one thing my dad said one time. He said one reason he doesn't like sequels is because they try to redo what they did in the original, and that's why they fail. That's why they don't work. Instead of trying to reinvent the wheel, invent the hovercraft. Give us something we haven't seen before. Give us something that will bring us to our feet and will make us remember why we love these characters by throwing them into a different situation that will bring out different things from them.
Play in the sandbox, but don't try to build the same sandcastle again because it won't work.
Yeah.
You're never going to rebuild that same sandcastle.
Well, it's just like, okay, a lot of people sometimes, I've heard some people complain saying that Aliens is nothing like Alien. That's kind of the point.
Yeah.
If they would have tried to do the exact same thing again, what would have happened? Oh, it's not as good as the original because the original did it first. Instead, Aliens gave us Space Marines.
Colonial Marines, yeah.
Gave us Colonial Marines. Aliens gave us so much more of the lore behind the aliens, behind the xenomorphs.
Yep.
Aliens gave us Ripley fully kicking ass and stepping up and being the hero that we all knew that she could be if she would conquer her fears of the xenomorphs. We had Bill Paxton.
Bill friggin' Paxton.
Game over, man.
Game over. Yeah. Yeah. Just Bill Paxton. Come on, man.
And we had and not only that, but you had a healthy mix of action horror.
Yeah.
For me, it's like Resident Evil 4. Resident Evil 4 is a perfect mix of action horror. There's a little bit of wisecracking here and there.
I mean, yeah,
which is what you need.
There's the terrible, terrible one-liners that Leon keeps trying to pull. And you're just like, Leon, that was bad. That was bad. I mean, look, you did a good job, but no.
Yeah, and you see, you have that kind of humor right there, and that's what makes action horror work. I feel you need those little moments, and then you need the horrifying moments where someone gets pulled down to their death, like when Bill Paxton's character, when that happened to him, I was like, no.
Well, now that's one of the interesting things about horror, I think, is the scariest situations are the ones in which you are powerless.
Yes.
And seeing something like that, you see that sudden shift, because it looks like, these guys are all badass and they've got all the guns. They're ready.
Well, they're
ready.
tough. Well, they are tough.
They're tough. And then one of them goes like that. And then suddenly there's that moment of doubt in your mind of, maybe these guys aren't so powerful after all. Oh, crap.
Well, for me, what summed it up was their first interaction with the Xenos, where they lost pretty much most of their crew.
Yeah.
Where they lost most of the team, including their commanding officer, Apone. When he got pulled up, and you saw Apone's camera getting pulled up to the ceiling, and you heard him scream, it was like, oh, God.
Yep.
It's like, they need to get the hell out of there. And I loved that. I loved that.
Yeah,
You
because
see that gives this bravado that they had. This these balls out badasses and all this. All of a sudden, they're human.
yeah, they're human, and worse,
They're out of their
outmatched.
element.
Yeah, exactly.
They're way out of their element.
That's the thing. So, one of the reasons that Amnesia was such a successful horror game is because you were powerless.
Yeah.
Instead of stand up and fight because you've got all these guns like Resident Evil 4,
Yeah.
instead you have nothing.
That's minimalist horror. That's what the first Alien film lived on. It lived on that. It lived on that isolation of being alone and having zero power whatsoever.
Yeah.
And
they actually found a way to recapture that in Aliens because they start off and they've got everything going for them.
yeah.
They are going into this situation as prepared as they could be, and then they find out that it's all for nothing.
Yeah.
And suddenly, you're right back in that same situation. Different circumstances, but that same visceral level of horror where there's nothing you can do.
Not a damn thing.
And that's perfect.
Yes. To me that's what makes a great that you see, in terms of which film is the better suspense film, I got to go Alien.
Right.
Both of them are horror films. Alien is a suspense horror film because the suspense on not seeing the creature and then the final reveal, just like Jaws. Just like Jaws, you can't imagine what this creature fully grown looks like. And then you see it when it takes out, you finally see it a little more than halfway through the film when it takes out Harry Dean Stanton.
Yeah.
And then and then eventually you get the confrontation with Ripley where she has to blow it out the airlock.
Exactly.
And then you have Aliens, which is an action horror film, which deals with the action, showing these big, tough colonial Marines, coming to this colony and proclaiming, "Oh, we're going to beat the shit out of these guys."
And then not.
At the turn of a
Yep.
turn of a dime, everything goes to hell, and there's not a damn thing they can do. And that feeling of powerlessness when you are, it's just like soldiers behind enemy. Soldiers on safe ground. I'm not saying this because I'm not anti-soldier or anything, but soldiers when they're on homeland, they have bravado. I mean, honestly, I have a friend who's in the military. He's in the Army, and speaking to him when he's home, when he's home and he hasn't gone through. Well, he hasn't seen much combat. He's had a few. He's been in a few artillery firings, artillery shellings, but nothing. Where he's had to
major.
Nothing major. No full combat. But when he was home, and before he had experienced what it was like over there, you'd think he had a 10-foot dick of the confidence that sumbitch had. You'd think he had a 10-foot, and he was just like all bravado, just like they better hope they don't run into me. They better hope they don't run into me, and it's just like, and then you're put in the situation. That's why it's like when anyone says, "Oh, I'd kill this person in that situation." I'm like, until you are in that situation,
you don't know.
You don't friggin' know. All right, I've been in people who've told me I've never been in a fight, but I'll definitely dominate in a fight. I'm like, motherfucker, wake up. I've been in several fights. I've had my ass handed to me several times, and I've kicked ass several times. And I will tell you this, you can never expect anything in a fight. You can never expect anything in a fight. I mean, honestly, I don't have bravado because, I know I can handle myself pretty good in a fight, but I know if it's a long fight, where, the person I'm going up against is like trained and has good cardio, I know I'm probably going to get my ass kicked. But in a fist fight with someone around, someone around my build, I have a lot of confidence I have confidence in myself. But and you see that's the thing. I've been in fights and people who tell me that they've never been in a fight, but yet they know that they'd kick ass. I'm like,
you don't know.
No, you don't. You don't know anything. You haven't. Okay, they all have a plan. As Mike Tyson said this, he said, everybody's got a plan until you punch them in the face. Everybody's got a plan. And he said this. He said when he was a kid and he saw Sugar Ray Leonard fight gosh, what's his name? It was on the tip of my tongue. One of the greatest ever, Roberto Duran. When the first time when Sugar Ray Leonard fought Roberto Duran, Leonard had a plan, and then he got punched in the face by those hands of stone that friggin' Roberto Duran had, and all those plans went out the window.
No plan survives the battlefield.
No plan survives the. Yeah, that's a good saying right there.
Yep.
So, and you see, with that, you see, look where we went with that conversation.
Yeah, I know.
Damn.
We're doing that thing where we run off at the mouth again.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're gonna
So
cut this one off here.
yeah, just
Yep. Guys, thank you for coming to watch this. Tell us what you think about this.
Yeah.
If you think it's gonna be awesome, if you think it's gonna be a mess, let us know.
let us know if you're excited for this. Yeah, and all that.
Yep.
Gosh.
Check the description for our various other endeavors, including our second channel, our P.O. Box, our Patreon, our good friend Wyndham's channel.
Yeah.
We're trying to get her some subs. So, check it out. See what you think. Until next time, I'm Ben. That's Nate.
Mm-hmm.
Not the other way around.
No. This is Ben.
Yeah, I'm Ben.
The man with the glasses.
That Nate.
is Ben. I am Nate.
Yeah. It'll be easier now that...
The man with the bald head.
Not again! Good night, everybody.